Hey friends and revolutionaries, back with the Masters of the Universe Classic subscription figure for July, and that's Clawful. I make that distinction because there's been a lot going on with Maddie lately. Everything from the Mad Monday that was actually at the end of last month, the SDCC, which, missed it again, this month, this weekend actually, and then of course the All-Star figures that they've been releasing, which got a few of those on the way. Yay, return to Battleground Tila. We've got a look at Clawful, this month's only subscription figure. Taking a look at a shipping box, nothing different, nothing new, same white box, just got a different name, which when we take a look at the big guy inside, I gotta tell you, he looks very impressive. Very, very nice. I like him. Now, I do want to make sure to point out, just so you guys know, I have 2 subscriptions. By the way, subscriptions opened up for 2012 yesterday. If you're a fan of the series, I definitely recommend getting it. It's a good thing. But I get 2 figures. I have 2 subscriptions. And they came together. And during the shipping, they were actually delayed by a couple of days. And I can only imagine that it was during that delay that this happened. The worst part is that this is the better of the 2. So, you know, it's one of the things where chances are I will leave this one in pack and open the other one, because this is the better of the 2. I don't even want to look at the other one. I'm just going to go ahead and pop that one open. But look at the pack. The figure looks fine inside the packaging. I don't see anything on the packaging. No concerns whatsoever. Looks fine. Packaging itself looks good. Got the logo at the top, lightning bolt, dimple, air holes, and Clawful warrior with grip of evil. Yeah, okay. On the back we've got the slew of Skeletor and his villains. There's Skeletor there, Beastman, Evelyn, Triclops, and then the 2 ocean villains, Merman and Clawful. So, you know, got kind of a red lobster, well, got kind of a seafood thing going on, I'll say that. Taking a look at his bio, now there's not a whole lot about Clawful out there. He was definitely not an A-list villain. So, what they write here, even though he has kind of a mini-com story, I'll go ahead and accept this as his background. Real name pronounced through a series of claw clicks. Don't bother. If they can't say it, don't write it. But member of the Cariconi, or whatever, an Eternian race of crustacean warriors, Clawful, as he was known outside the Orcus Islands, became a core member of Skeletor's evil warriors after he saved Beastman's life. He saved Beastman's life? Well, okay. From a Selacopoid attack. Clawful's hard shell protects him from both extreme heat and cold. Under a spell cast by Evelyn, Clawful's dull wits were enhanced, turning him into a keen warrior and strategist. He fought alongside Skeletor, leading a battalion of Skeletor's warriors. During the second ultimate battleground, Clawful uses his dreaded claws to work his evil will. That was actually supposed to be, I think it was like the last episode or 2, at least on the last disc. Clawful kind of gets an episode or part of an episode, and he's not real sharp. And from what I read in some of the stories or some of the sources on Clawful, yeah, it was going to be written that Evelyn actually cast a spell and made him smart. So, you know, shame that never happened. But yeah, that's taking a look at Clawful's bio. But let's take a moment and take just a quick look at what he's like in his minicom. Be right back.
As I mentioned with Cyclone, it wasn't unusual for multiple characters to be featured in a single issue of a minicom. That way that minicom could be packaged with each of those characters, and thereby saving money. It's a bit of a disservice because in the Clash of Arms, first appearance of Clawful, he, Jitsu, Whiplash, Stridor, all have to kind of share the spotlight in what's ultimately a Fisto story. Now, as the SDCC preview show, Fisto's on his way, so I want to save most of the story for his review, but I'll share with you what little Clawful we do get in the story. Not to give too much away, but Skeletor captures Fisto and brings him to an arena with the intention of testing him in a series of battles to prove his great strength. As Fisto awakens, Skeletor calls for his first opponent, Clawful. Clawful takes full advantage of Fisto's confusion and barely knowing what's going on, and gives him a good right claw. He knocks Fisto back a bit, but he quickly regains his senses and notices laying on the ground a broken club. Now, please note, the club is broken when he finds it. As Clawful approaches, Fisto gives him a good wham, knocking him back a few feet. Sensing he has the advantage, Fisto closes in on Clawful with the broken club in hand. Now, I did say the club was broken when he found it, but every time I see that panel, I can't help thinking that he hit Clawful so hard he smashed it. Clawful tries to attack again, but this time Fisto's fully prepared. He uses what's left of the club to wedge in the lobster's claw, which leaves him so shocked and distracted that Fisto's able to take full advantage. Losing 2 out of the 3 knockdowns, Clawful's out, Fisto's warmed up, and ready for his next opponent.
I know, not a lot. I promise a full review when we get Fisto. Promise. But for now, oh nostalgia, thy name is Clawful. This is such a for me. This takes me back so much to my old vintage collection. I've been desperate to find some of these old figures, and I don't know what's happened to them. But looking at Clawful here really makes me want to go have another shot and see if I can find them. This is just a fantastic version of old Lobster Boy here. I mean, it is so cool, and in so many ways. I mean, in many ways, it really kind of brings me back to the old vintage line. I mean, first and foremost, the head. I mean, this is a solid piece of plastic. I'm sure that if I had them next to each other, there would be very distinct differences. But with the fin, the very bushy eyebrows, the very big eyes and underbite, you know, these are all very distinct characteristics off the vintage Clawful that they just completely reused. They just completely brought back. And I could not ask for more. That is just fantastic. It just looks so cool. Got the sharp, it's a very sharp red too. You know, when you look at his armor here, it's actually a bit darker. It's got some shading in the going down the middle. The head here is just a very stark red, very bright red. And the contrast looks beautiful. Looks so nice. I guess looking at the body, other than the buzz-off claw, and of course his special feature claw that we'll get to, this is, well, and the armor of course, this is basically Whiplash. It's a complete reuse of Whiplash. Everything from the feet with the scales, kind of here on the legs, look up at the top of the neck and the top of the shoulders. I mean, it's just a reuse of Whiplash, just in a red instead of a green. I don't mind. It looks great. It looks great. I think it's a beautiful figure. On the back, I love how the armor's done here. A little more detail. I love the ridges. Kind of has the fin theme going all the way down the back. Looks good. But nice if it would have come a little bit further down. It kind of cuts off right there at the belt. Would have liked it to come down maybe to a point. I mean, his articulation, he's got the bend at the waist. He's got his crunch. So, you know, having the little extra bit here in the bottom, I wouldn't have minded. The head does twist. It's on a ball joint. Arm comes up, out. Twist to the shoulder, bicep, elbow, and wrist. And on the larger claw, actually twists up here at the top of the claw. Waist twists, leg twists, comes out, out again, bend at the knee, boot, there we go, and on the foot. So all the articulation from the Master Universe Classics line is included. No problems. Now, on his accessories, I'm going to go ahead and start with the claw, even though it's not really an accessory, but it is his weapon. On the vintage version, there was actually a little spring hinge where you push down here, and it'll cause the claw to go up and down. Here, it's actually got a spring inside, or maybe it's a rubber band, I don't know. But it doesn't open a lot. It's not real wide, but still, you know, you get the great clicking sound. I'm such a sucker for clicking. That's gonna put him pretty high up on my list. Just the, yeah, that's good. On a slightly more disappointing side, as I pointed out on the packaging, how it was pretty torn up when I got it. When I opened up the pack, and this is the one that was in worse shape, yeah, there's a lot of paint chips. Just mostly, I guess, on this one side. There's some paint chips on his mace. That's a cool green color. I like the fact they actually redid the bottom of the handle, almost like a shell sort of thing. Biggest disappointment I've got with his accessories, though, I mean, this one fits into his hand just like this. You have a very classic look for Clawful. But it also comes with this shell shield. Shell shield. Yeah, okay, that'll work. Which is actually very cool. You know, I like how it has kind of this almost metallic kind of spines on it, as well as kind of the ridges, sort of like we saw on his back. It's actually very cool. And when you take a look at the belt, you can see the same kind of metallic paint there on the belt. And the highlights on his feet aren't really metallic, but it still kind of gives that same feel, you know, kind of just this lighter blue on the starker. But my disappointment is, or my problem is that, you know, you have him holding his mace in one hand, and then you click his shield on the other. You know, weapon-wise, that's kind of, well, you're going to use one or the other, you know. It doesn't really work for him to have both. So, you know, you can kind of go like that and have kind of a vintage Clawful. Be kind of nice if they would have had some place for the shield to snap on his back, maybe. You know, that way you can keep all the accessories together. Or you can take the mace off, put the shield in his hand like so, and come up with something kind of different. It's really up to you. I like the shield a lot. I really do. And with the chips that I got on the paint here, yeah, more than likely this is going to go in the accessory pack. It's a shame. I wish I could find, oops, careful now. I wish I could find some way of actually getting it to fit on him somehow. Who knows? Maybe I'll get some elastic bands. Who knows? But more than likely, this is how I'll have him on display. Looks really cool. I would definitely say if you're a vintage Master Universe fan, a lot like Webster actually, Clawful goes back to the vintage style with just a great updated version. Looks fantastic. Again, taking a look at that armor on there, that front chest armor. I want to make sure you get a good look at that. That is fantastic. And then, like I said, the sculpting on his back with the details. You can actually kind of pop that off. So that's kind of how it hides the where it closes up. I mean, it's just an all-around really nice figure. I really do like him. Pick him up if you can find him, if you can get him, if you've got him or if he's on the way. I'm sure you know just what I mean. He is awesome. Certainly thank you guys for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe, join the revolution. We'll see you soon. Bye.